How to get married in Canada to a foreigner. An in-depth step-by-step article showing you how to fill out the application and answer the most frequently asked questions. After watching this, if you need more information, we have provided an article with more resources to help you. The link is below in the description of this video. Let's start with some basic FAQs. My foreign partner is already in Canada. Can we get married? Yes, you can get married to your non-Canadian partner here. Each Canadian province has its steps, but it's relatively straightforward. You can start by visiting your provincial vital statistics website and look for marriage services. My foreign partner is not in Canada yet, but we would like to get married here. If your spouse holds a first world passport, for example, British or American, or they just need an ETA, for instance, coming from Mexico, it's relatively easy as long as you get an ETA. Just remember, CBSA, Canada Border Services Agency, sometimes has issues with visitors coming to Canada to get married. If your partner needs a visa before getting here, then in most cases it will not work, with some exceptions, and you'll be forced to get married in your partner's home country. Keep reading this article to learn why your partner is unlikely to get a tourist visa to Canada. Quick tip: you may ask yourself, should I lie to CBSA about getting married in Canada? The short answer is no. But at the same time, keep your answer as short as possible when at the border. Both myself and my partner are foreigners here in Canada. Can we get married here? Yes, two foreigners can get married in Canada. Each Canadian jurisdiction has its process. Tip: getting married to a Canadian does not give you any rights to live, work, or study in Canada. You may be wondering about a foreign national getting married in Canada, or whether you can get married in Canada on a visitor visa, assuming you're not Canadian. Maybe you're wondering whether you can get married to a foreigner in Canada and how to get married to that person, whether they be a foreign national visiting Canada or an immigrant temporarily in the country on a study or work permit. Relax, the news is mostly good. But you should be aware that there are certain things that marriage to a Canadian does not get you. First, the good news. Getting married in Canada is relatively easy generally. It's none of the IRCC's, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada's, business. Neither of you even has to be a resident of Canada, as long as you are both physically present at the wedding ceremony, whether civil or religious. Tip: religious ceremonies can be trickier because some denominations require an interview and have their requirements. Plan ahead. For example, here is what the Archdiocese of Toronto states. Couples should speak to their pastor at least 12 months in advance. Tip: IRCC refers to the branch of the Canadian government that deals with immigration issues. This will only be an issue, and a big one, if you plan to have your non-native partner stay in Canada. Our website is full of great resources covering this topic. Visit immigroup.com and click Research a Topic now. Look for articles dealing with sponsorship or marriage. However, the IRCC can potentially get involved in assessing the validity of your marriage if and when you apply to sponsor your newly married spouse, assuming one of the partners in the marriage is either a citizen or permanent resident of Canada. So let us guide you through the marriage process in Canada with just a caution about the IRCC if and when you take the next step and apply to sponsor your newly wedded spouse. Here's what the IRCC says about marriages of convenience. It's a crime for a foreign national to marry a Canadian citizen or permanent resident only to gain entry to Canada. So be aware that the IRCC can be on the lookout for quickie marriages that soon end in a very convenient divorce. Now, having said that, proving intent is very much another matter, and in practice, the Canadian government has been easing up on the restrictions on sponsored spouses in Canada. In April 2017, they dropped the requirement that a sponsored spouse who had been in a relationship with a sponsoring spouse for less than 2 years and who had no children with that sponsoring spouse was required to live with the spouse for 2 years in Canada or lose their permanent resident status. The good news is that this requirement has been dropped. As the Canadian government stated, there are 2 main reasons for dropping what was called conditional permanent residence. Most marriages are genuine. The government is committed to gender equality and fighting gender violence. So don't worry too much about the IRCC snooping around about the reasons for you getting married. Just go ahead and understand the process and take the necessary steps as we explain in our written article link below this video. Let Immigroup help you with all immigration and document matters. We can help you with your spousal sponsorship application, visitor or student visa and extensions, and authentication and apostle services. Just visit our website at immigroup.com. Definitions to help you understand the next part of this article. What is a marriage license in Canada? This is what you get to get married. You obtain it before getting married and generally pay a fee. For example, in BC, only one member of the couple is required to purchase a marriage license at a cost of 100 Canadian dollars. We'll get into the steps of this a little further on. What is a marriage certificate in Canada? This is not a record of solemnization of marriage. It is an official record of your marriage that you apply for after marriage. For example, in Ontario, you can apply in person, online, or by fax, as we explain further below. While a marriage license is only valid for weddings, civil ceremonies in the same province or territory, your marriage certificate is also valid across Canada and overseas. Steps you need to take to get married in Canada to a foreigner. Remember, the next part is great to look at. It will give you an excellent overview of the process in your area of Canada. Once you understand the steps, visit the official government websites and start the process. Links can be found in our written article. Getting married in Ontario. As you'll notice, the basic requirements and steps are fairly similar to those in BC. Let's start with eligibility. Step 1. Who can get married? You must be at least 16 years old, and if you are under 18 years of age, but 16 or 17, then you need your parents' or guardians' consent. Consent forms are available where you get your marriage license. Go to ensure that your officiant, the person who performs the marriage ceremony, is registered and authorised in Ontario to do weddings. For civil marriages, the following occupations are authorised in Ontario: a municipal clerk, a judge, an Ontario Justice of the Peace, an Ontario Case Management Master. Step 2. Get your marriage license or church banns. You either need a marriage license or a church banns to get married in Ontario. Please note that if someone has previously been married, they cannot obtain a church banns and must get a marriage license instead. Your marriage license will have to be signed by both members of the couple, the witnesses, and the person officiating the ceremony. Your marriage license is obtained at your local municipal offices, where you will be getting married. You will need 2 pieces of ID, such as a government-issued birth certificate, valid passport, record of immigrant landing, Canadian citizenship card, valid driver's license, government-issued photo ID from abroad. As in BC and Alberta, your marriage license is valid for 3 months from the date of issue. If either partner has had a name change or a change in marital status since their unused marriage license was issued, and your unused marriage license has expired, then you can apply for a replacement license. Go to the municipality where you originally purchased your marriage license. Bring your unused marriage license, if you still have it. Bring your required ID and any other supporting documents needed. There is no provincial fee for a replacement marriage license. There may be municipal fees. Go to the online guide to fill out the form. There are 8 steps. FAQs. Can I stay in Canada if I marry a Canadian? Your foreign spouse does not gain you the right to become a Canadian citizen merely by marrying. Your partner will remain with the same rights they have before marrying you. You must first apply for permanent residency in Canada, and after some time, they can apply for citizenship like anyone else, which means you still have to take the required steps. That usually means getting sponsored by your Canadian spouse, a lengthy process in and of itself, as we explain here, to get permanent resident status. Tip: Immigroup has a 38-chapter free sponsorship course. Just search in Google for spousal sponsorship course, and the Immigroup website will be on the first page. In other words, marrying a Canadian gets you no special treatment in the process any foreign national has to undertake to obtain citizenship. It certainly can give you a pathway to permanent residence, but as we said above, being sponsored by your spouse is a detailed process, one where success cannot necessarily be guaranteed. The unavoidable conclusion is that getting married as a quick ticket to Canada is a strategy that will backfire on you. Canada's immigration authorities, whether IRCC or CBSA, will often sniff that out, and you'll find yourself with an unsuccessful sponsorship application, and maybe even a rejection on a visitor visa, as we explain below. My partner is not in Canada yet. Can they get here so we can get married here in Canada? Short answer: it depends. It depends on the specifics of your wedding, your personal and economic situation in your home country, and your relationship with your newly wed Canadian wife, husband. To make this point clear, let's consider a couple of theoretical, contrasting scenarios. You're an Irish national with an engineering degree and over 5 years of experience in the utility sector, and you own a property in Dublin. Your partner is from Calgary and owns a 2-bedroom house. Both of you met in Europe while working, started dating, and now that a few years have passed, you want to get married and start a family in Calgary. Both of you think it would be great to have the wedding in Banff, Alberta. You meet your partner in the Philippines while on vacation. You're both in love and you want to start a new life in Canada. Your Philippine partner has a high school degree and works at a local call centre. She lives at home with other family members. She's never visited a first world country, does not own any property, and her job is with a small company. Who do you think has the better chance of getting to Canada? Unfortunately, applying for a visitor visa to get married in Canada is simply not recommended. Understand that most cases lie somewhere between these two rather extreme scenarios. The devil is indeed in the detail. There are several scenarios when considering coming to Canada to get married. What happens if I marry my partner and he is on a tourist visa? If you marry your partner as a tourist, or in this case any type of visa, nothing will happen. They can keep the current visa status, but at some point they will need to renew. It can cause problems. It's recommended if you're planning to stay in Canada that you file a family class sponsorship application within the first few months after the marriage or before the visa expires. We are engaged overseas but want to have the marriage in Canada. Is this possible? This can be a little trickier. If your foreign spouse is from a first world country or only needs an ETA and has stable ties in their home country and a successful career, then getting to Canada to get married has a pretty good chance of succeeding, especially if they have visited Canada previously or have travelled elsewhere and always complied with their visa requirements. It may not seem fair, but first world travellers will often have an easier time getting that visa to go and get married in Canada. This doesn't mean, however, that foreign partners from other countries will always face difficulties getting that visitor's visa. For example, imagine a successful software developer from India with a consulting company who frequently travels to Europe and North America on business and has substantial economic and personal ties in their home country. They become engaged to a Canadian citizen and decide to get married in Canada. Because of their ties to India and their record as a traveller, they should be able to get that visitor visa. An important point is what to say to the immigration officials at your POE, point of entry. Generally the airport in Canada you arrive at. There's no need to go into a lengthy explanation of your situation. Just a brief answer saying you're getting married in Canada should suffice. If CBSA officials decide they want more information, they'll ask. Tip: did you know that we have a do-it-yourself visitor visa guide on Immigroup's website? Look for Canada's Visitor Visa TRV course and get a head start. Remember, CBSA officials have the final say on whether to let you into Canada, even if you've obtained a visitor visa before arriving at your port of entry, as they say here at the travel.gc.ca website. Many factors come into play when Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, determines if you're permitted to enter Canada. It is important to note that the final determination is made by a Border Services officer at the point of entry. They base their decision on the information they are presented at entry into Canada. How long does it take to get permanent residency after marriage in Canada? A quick and short answer is, assuming the application that is filed is 99% perfect, 1 to 3 months to put the family class spousal sponsorship application together and submit it to the government. 6 months before you can file for an open work permit. 4 to 8 months before a decision is given, approved or disapproved. Congratulations! You've jumped through the hoops, got your license, done the wedding ceremony, and ordered and received your marriage certificate for a marriage performed and now legally registered in Canada. Now, the issue of where to spend the next years of your lives together will be something you've both thought of from when it became apparent that your relationship was a serious and lasting one. What should you do next? A sponsorship application, where the Canadian citizen or permanent resident sponsors the foreign national for a permanent resident visa, is the next step for most couples. But spousal sponsorship, as we stated at the beginning, is a detailed and lengthy process. Suppose you get it wrong by rushing it and sending an application full of mistakes, which also lacks sufficient supporting documents. In that case, you will open yourself up to a lot of wasted time, worry, expensive legal costs, and in the worst case scenario, needing to move from Canada. So again, congratulations on your marriage, but please make sure to take the time and effort to get your spousal sponsorship application right.